For those of you that don't know, your top 4 highest ranked conference champions, they get first round byes. But here's how this college football playoff bracket could drastically shake up over this championship weekend. Unfortunately for Mr. Rhett Lashley, his SMU Mustangs face a big, and I mean a big problem. Oh, hey guys. Sorry I didn't see you there. Well, since I got your time and you're wondering what in the heck's going on, might as well tell you, we're trying to hit 350,000 subscribers before Christmas, so if you could help us out, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let's get back into a video. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope you're having a great day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, we got to talk about one of the craziest college football playoff scenarios that might, and I mean might, just happen. As we all know, all the controversy and drama heading into championship weekend is that last and final spot. Is it going to be SMU, Clemson, or Alabama? That's what everybody's looking at, rightfully so. But, and I have a really big but, you better believe this, there's some other things you need to be paying attention to. Where the CFB committee placed not just the top 12 teams, but the top 25 teams, it's looking like they might have set themselves up for what's going to transpire next week. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about in just a second. And this topic is so important, it is the one and only thing we're going to be talking about. So strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get your popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video. Because trust me, I do the same thing, but I'm out, blah, blah, shut crap up, not further ado. Let's get into it. First things first, before we even get going, one of you left this comment on a video we posted a couple days ago. It was about the Travis Hunter and his girlfriend situation, that video. This comment writes, I just saw it this morning, Matt, I have such respect for you, so I'm thinking it's going to be a good comment. You're an inspiration for mentally challenged people everywhere by showing that autism isn't a death sentence and you can still have productive lives? I don't know whether to be more mad at the comment itself or the fact it almost has 400 likes. Oh, and I just clicked on the replies. Thanks, guys. Hashtag Matt be autistic. Crash XD and Bozbana, who put the laughy face in my... What are you laughing at, dude? You want to get banned? You want to laugh? Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I'm going to remember those usernames. And then 2, I don't know why, but there was a ton of people on that video saying, and this was an actual top like comment, Matt out here capping. I just saw these comments this morning, so I was trying to like piece it together. I'm like, what am I capping about? We just talked about Travis Hunter and his girlfriend. But I then remembered in that video, I told you guys a story of, and if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out for yourself. I'm not going to retell it. It's like 6, 7, 8 minutes long. I was talking about where I was dropping like 20, 25 points per game, and I had a girlfriend and other girls at every gym I went to were hitting on me and yada, yada, yada. Now, if I had to take a guess, I could be wrong. I'm assuming you're saying I'm capping about not the girl part, maybe you're saying that too, but the 20, 25 points per game, because everybody was saying that in the comments, like, oh, dude, Matt didn't score 20 a game. What was he talking about? And I was actually confused when I was reading those comments because the OG, I'm talking about the OG subscribers, they knew White Randy wasn't just a demon on the football field, but also a demon on the court. I've always told y'all one day I'll tell y'all my life story and we'll make that video on the channel. But until then, I tend to give y'all some bits and pieces. Luckily enough for you guys, there was some girl who helped on our basketball team. She wasn't like a manager or anything. I don't even know what her role was, but it's besides the point. She recorded about 8 to 10 of our games that season. I can't play the music, so I'm going to talk over it. She put some funky music in there, but this is me taking the ball up the court. I'm going to do me a nice little Euro. Nothing to it, just a regular layup for your boy Matt. Oh, and I remember this play. No, I got to pause it. I remember this play just like it was yesterday. At this point in time in the game, I had it was 26 or 28 points. I was right at 30. I was hot. And by the way, it wasn't even the fourth quarter yet. It was the end of the third quarter. The guy who got the rebound on our play for our team in the backcourt threw it to the point guard. I looked at the point guard. I yelled his name. I said, hey, give me the ball. I was hot. I was like, get out the way. This is a straight up ISO. And before I even crossed half court, I already knew what move I was doing because they put this lockdown defender on me. He was a Hall of Fame menace to society. He was like 6'2", 6'3", black Air Force energy. Like I was saying though, I already knew before I crossed half court what move I was doing because I worked on this move every single day. It is a perfect setup move for your defender. In between your legs left, crossover right, pull up midi right in his mitt. And yeah, as you saw right there, you see the result, none but net. The rest of the game, I don't even think she showed like 2 or 3 of them, but I wound up finishing with like 6, 7. I might have hit 8 threes. I can't remember how many it was. I don't know what the defense was doing there. They lost me in transition. Like, dude, come on now. You got to have me. Oh, this play was crazy. So the defender went for the steal. You could barely see it because it kind of cut to it quickly. He missed the steal. I caught it. So I pretty much had like a 2-on-1. I could have attacked it. But, dude, I was hot. I was like, nah, I'm pulling up. And Nothing but net. Oh, this was a nice little and one drive. Nothing too crazy. I kind of got hype on the play. I'll show y'all one more game, though, like I promised. And I already know there's somebody going, dude, are we going to talk about the college football playoff? We are. But last time I checked, this is my channel, and I'm talking about this right now. So calm down, buddy. We have people in our comment section saying White Randy also couldn't hoop. So I got to prove them wrong, okay? Give me a second. If y'all want to say Matt can't hoop, that's fine. I'm not even going to go back and forth with you. I'm just going to pull out the tape. I forgot to even tell y'all this. As you can see on my right leg, there is a full-out black sleeve. It's just blacked down. Black sleeve, and it's got a black brace on it. That's because I was coming off of one of my major ACL surgeries. And at this time, I remember my trainer talking to me before the game. He said he thought I was around 40%, but I disagree. I said I was around 50%. But still, either way, I wasn't even close to 100%. This was like 6 months after ACL surgery. And if any of you know anything about ACL surgery, it takes right around 9 to 12 months to be fully healed. I really couldn't jump anymore. I used to be able to dunk, couldn't get close to doing that. I had zero explosiveness off my right leg. I was pretty much just... I had to change my whole game. I had to change into a sharpshooter. But you're going to see this shot right here, and then if this shot doesn't tell you everything you need to know about my game, I really don't know what will. I know what you're sitting here thinking. Bro, there's no way Matt's about to shoot this. There's a guy bear hugging him, and there's another guy ready to help. And, well, you're about to see this was just a average shot for White Randy. You see this shot? Double contested, 130% smothered. And I'm talking to you watching this video. If any of you watching this video take a shot like this, you ain't just bench for the remainder of the game. You're bench for the remainder of the season. You're not getting back in. For me, that was just regular. And this is how you know it's regular. Did you see me celebrating after the play? No, I'm just jogging back on defense. That's how you can tell who can hoop and who actually can't hoop. If somebody's celebrating after a bucket, you know that ain't normal for them. But me? Ain't no celebrating, just a normal day for White Randy. This next play forgot. Oh, yeah, this was just a drive. You know, like 4 people on me. Whatever, just throw it up. It's going to go in. Oh, they're playing a zone here. Probably a bad idea with White Randy. Splash! I think on the next play, yeah, they're playing still a zone. Got my hand up. It's just shooting practice for me. You see me, I'm holding the follow through. Like, what are you doing? You better play a boxing one on White Randy. Oh, this is a 3-on-1 fast break. Let me pause it right there. I already know. There's some of you going, Matt, you got to give it up. Look, you need context, okay? Because I was also the, what would you, no. How would I say it? I led the team in assists. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. So I led the team in assists, rebounds, points, all that nice stuff. The reason I didn't give it up on that play, I don't want to disrespect the other two guys. They weren't like, I guess you'd say slashers. They were 3-point shooters. And I knew intrinsically, and this is stuff you got to know as a basketball player, if it's me on the fast break, who is an excellent finisher, I don't mean that braggadociously, I mean it humbly, and I got a point guard who's not a good finisher and he's 5'7", why would I give it up? So, yeah, I didn't give it up. I could have, but I still finished it, so it's all good in the hood. You know, we still got 2 points. And that's all I'm going to show you from that game because we got to get talking about football. I think at halftime, that was in the first half, by the way, I had like 18 or 20. I average around 20, 25 a game, and I just showed you 2 games where I think I finished with well over 30 points. And I'll say this, and we'll get back into football stuff. I didn't just want to show y'all that to quote-unquote prove people wrong. That's not what it's about. I wanted to show y'all that so y'all know. When I tell y'all stories moving forward, these aren't made up. I don't know how you would make them up. I lived it. This one, though, talking about I averaged 20, 25 a game and got all the girls in high school. I don't know why that's hard to believe. Maybe one day in the off season we'll react to all the highlights and we'll talk about it and I'll give you some more stories, stuff like that. For now, at least, it is college football season and I need to quit reliving my glory days and talk about college football. Next time y'all want to say Matt's capping about a story, you might want to get your facts straight. That's all I'm going to say. Moving along here to this playoff stuff. So everybody is locked in and laser focused on Alabama, SMU, and Clemson. That's who it's going to come down to for that final spot. And as to where it stands right now, Boise State, Oregon, SMU, and Texas, they're getting first round byes. Arizona State's going to sneak in at number 12. You got Penn State 5, Tennessee, Ohio State, they're playing 9 and 8, Alabama and Notre Dame 11-6, and Indiana and Georgia 10-7. But here's how this college football playoff bracket could drastically shake up over this championship weekend. For those of you that don't know, your top 4 highest ranked conference champions, they get first round byes. As you can see, that is Texas, SMU, Oregon, and Boise. But, and I have a big but, if Boise State loses to UNLV, they're no longer not even going to be in the playoff, and a new conference is going to get that first round bye, and that's going to be the Big 12. The winner between Iowa and Arizona State, if Boise loses, will be the 4th ranked team. which to me is already kind of a flawed concept, but that's really a different video for a different day. That's going to be something to pay attention to. The Big 12, whoever wins that game, would really benefit from a Boise State loss. Something else I want to point out is Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and Georgia. For the sake of this video and just the controversy standpoint, what if Penn State upsets Oregon? Well, if Texas loses to Georgia, that then means, I guess, Penn State's going to be the number one team in the country. You'd have to assume that, right? I mean, there's a legit case of possibility that when this weekend's over, Penn State is going to be the number one team in the country, which is insane to even think about. But to add even more chaos, let's say Texas beats Georgia. What do you do if Texas and Penn State win? Do you bump Penn State over Texas to number one? Do you give it to Texas? Well, let me know in the comment section. There's good arguments for both of them, and I really like the argument for Penn State saying, hey, well, we beat a team that isn't just number one in the nation. They haven't lost a game. Whereas with Texas, you beat Georgia, but Georgia's already lost twice this year. They almost lost last week. That could really shake some things up, but let's get into the biggest topic of discussion. Clemson, Alabama, and SMU. Everybody and their mom has been talking about this past couple of days. What's going to happen if SMU loses? Do both of those teams get in? Is Alabama going to jump them? We know the committee loves Bama. They might just put Bama in over SMU even if they lose. Check out what Rhett Lashley had to say yesterday, quote unquote. If our team all got COVID today and didn't play, we're in. And he's 100% right. Unfortunately for Mr. Rhett Lashley, his SMU Mustangs face a big, and I mean a big problem. In the most recent college football playoff ranking, the committee decided to not rank Louisville, which means SMU doesn't have a ranked win. We have finished the regular season, and SMU has beat nobody. As do how? Well, I'm acting like I don't know how. I do know how. They're in the sorry and sucky ACC. The ACC is awful. But like I was saying, they somehow managed to get through this season without a ranked win, and their only ranked matchup as it stands right now is against BYU, and they lost. I say all that to say this. The committee not ranking Louisville is kind of like a setup, potentially. Because by not ranking Louisville, you can now say next week, if you're the committee and you decide to put Alabama in, which we'll get to in just a second, whoa, SMU doesn't have any ranked wins. With that being said, let's address this. I do not like the idea of a team like SMU, who is playing in a conference championship as where it stands today. They are locked into a playoff. They lose, and a team like Alabama, who's eating cheesy puffs on the couch this weekend, they don't even have to play, and they get in over them. I don't even like the idea of that because it's like, why are we rewarding Alabama and punishing SMU for actually making their conference championship? However, if the goal of this playoff and the goal of the committee is to put the 12 best teams in there, let's just say, for the sake of this video, Clemson beats SMU 42-10. How in the world, if you're a part of that committee, do you sit there and go, yeah, I think SMU's better than Alabama for an at-large spot? How do you do that? If SMU looks terrible, Clemson just steamrolls them. Remember, Clemson ain't even that good this year. It's going to look even worse. If Clemson just beats them like a drum, even if it's 35-10, that's going to be a tricky argument and debate for that committee. And I know there's college football fans everywhere that are going to say, no, Matt, that ain't right. SMU should be in the playoff automatic. Dude, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. There is going to be a case and argument for Alabama if SMU gets blown out. Well, let's talk about this. What if Clemson wins 27-17? SMU doesn't look atrocious, but they don't look good, and they only lose by 10, 13, 14 points, something around that area. Depending how the game went, I don't know, man. It's just so tricky because it's like, SMU ain't beat anybody, man. You have to view SMU like Boise State and UNLV. They got to win their conference championship to get in. They ain't beat nobody. It just really depends how SMU looks in this game against Clemson. And all in all, for their entire season, I would say SMU, they're just a slightly above average team. Sometimes they play good, but they're nothing special. And you could say, well, Matt, Alabama's not special. Okay, so what you want about Alabama? I've critiqued them more than anybody else, but they're 3-1 in top 25 matchups, and they beat Georgia. Alabama, from the eye test perspective, they've looked atrocious some games, but when you look at what they've done on paper, it's amazing, and it's a really good resume. SMU's resume is just... it's awful. 0-1 against top 25 teams. And do y'all remember why the committee gave Alabama the edge over Miami? Because Alabama had more top 25 wins and a better record in top 25 matchups. So if the committee gave Alabama the edge over Miami due to more top 25 wins, what do you think is going to happen if SMU goes 0-2 in top 25 games? Think about it. I'm warning you right now, like I warned you 2 weeks ago, that the committee's going to try to sneak Alabama back into his playoff. If you don't think Alabama has a chance to get into his playoff, even with an SMU loss, you've lost your mind and you're living in Delulu land. I can't emphasize this enough. There's a possibility that Alabama gets into this playoff even with an SMU loss. Now, if SMU wins and just takes care of business because they're favored as when I'm speaking, Alabama's getting in, no questions asked. But I personally don't expect SMU to win this game for the reason that they're not a very good team. They're okay. They're slightly above average. They're kind of like the BYUs, overrated. I said it all year about BYU. They're overrated, and finally it caught up to them. Let me know in the comment section, what would you do? Like I said, it just depends on what happens in this game. But if Clemson goes in there and beats them soundly by 17, 20 plus points, I don't like the concept and idea of this, like I told you guys, but if the goal is to put the best 12 teams in there, I'd probably have to put Alabama in. And I know y'all hate Bama, but gosh, how could you say SMU, who went 0-2 top 25 games, is better than Alabama? What is your argument? You don't have one. Your only argument is, well, man, Alabama lost to Oklahoma by 20. Okay, I saw it. It happened. Alabama also beat Georgia. They also beat Wisconsin and LSU on the road by 30-plus points. What can you point to in SMU's schedule and say they deserve to be in over Alabama, or they've earned their way in? What's really impressive on their resume? They beat Nevada by 5, lost to BYU by 3. I mean, what are we talking about? I guess you could say their best win is they beat unranked Louisville by 7. Barely beat Duke by 1 in overtime. They look good in their past 2 games against Virginia and Cal, but I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Virginia and Cal suck. You do understand that Cal lost to the Cinnamon Rolls, right? The Cinnamon Rolls! How in the world do you lose to the 2-10 Cinnamon Rolls? ACC is straight bunzos, man. Straight buns. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below. But